Hello and welcome to the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast. I'm Ron. He is John Yaglenski, executive producer
Hello.
and my partner in crime.
Indeed.
And here we are on this wonderful Wednesday. We had to bump it back because, the 4th of July. And it was funny because I was talking to John on Monday. And I'm like, hey, you want to do a 4th of July broadcast and do our podcast? And I got no response. And I said, you know what? Let's do it Wednesday.
wait a minute. Hold on.
Why don't we take the day and do it Wednesday?
It was crickets.
Yeah. And then I see why. One of the reasons why I didn't know that his parents were in town.
Yeah.
And then also that John ran a 5K.
Right.
3K.
It was 5K.
5K.
A firecracker 5K.
Yeah,
Here on Hilton Head Island.
Back to running. So he's trying to drop some weight. I need to do what he's doing, and get there.
Why?
But, we've changed the podcast to today. So yay! Happy birthday, America! It was a great day yesterday. But first, I want to address, before I get to the 4th of July festivities, I want to address some of my technical capabilities. Now, I've worked in the radio industry it'll be 40 years in
Holy crap.
August. Yeah, 1983. Wow. 1983, I did my first, but we've gone all through that. Anyway. So I've been on the air when the engineer would come in on the weekends and move me to another studio so he could work on the main studio. And now I'm trying to cobble together with 2 turntables and a CD player and a cart deck. A cart deck. It's a thing. Yeah. And a reel to reel and all this in a much smaller studio. And Fran, who was the engineer, was always appreciative. He would always come in during my show, because he knew that I liked, being upended and moved to someplace unfamiliar and trying to, it was a challenge. It was great. It was fun. And I would get the junior engineering award when I'd call him and just I'd say, hey, we have an issue with this. And I'd just go through before he even asked all the questions. Yes, it's plugged in. Yes, it's in the board. Yes, it's yes, it is on. But here's what I'm seeing in the VU meters. And I would go through all of that stuff. And then he would go, okay, good. Now here's what we do next. Let's swap this out and so on and so forth. So
yes.
Fast forward through the computer age, where I've learned a lot more about computers than I ever thought I would have to. And even though I took Fortran programming in college for some
Fortran,
yeah, for math. For what? Mathematicians and yeah. Well, my brother took Fortran. My older brother took Fortran programming in college. This is 84.
If you had stuck with that, you'd be rich right now.
All right.
Or COBOL, not cobalt, by the way.
Yeah, COBOL. Yeah, not cobalt. The color.
Yeah, all those government systems are written in these languages, and they haven't switched them over.
Dude, I took I knew BASIC.
Okay.
I took basic in high school.
Yeah.
But that's where you saved everything on a cassette. That's where you saved your program on a cassette.
Sweet.
Yeah.
People are like, what? People are like, what's a cassette?
A cassette? Yeah. And I took Fortran programming, and I'll tell you about my epiphany while I was on campus a little bit later on with Fortran programming. Anyway.
Yes. But I digress.
Squirrel. John will tell you, since I purchased this laptop,
yes,
I have been having issues with my camera, because sometimes I'll pop the camera on and it's not working. It's got facial recognition, so I have to. It won't recognize. The 2 red lights are blinking, going, "We're looking for you," and where are you? And I'm like, So I'd have to put in my code in order, and I'm like, this is not good, man. So, and a couple of times I've texted John and said, I don't know if I have to do the podcast on my phone because my camera's not working on my brand new laptop that I just bought. And so he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then magically it would work. And I don't know how it did that. I mean, I would go in and diagnose and troubleshoot and click this button and did that work? And Microsoft is blah, 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 blah. All right, so
Can I just say, wait, hold on.
What?
I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's freaking 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we still having these kind of problems with our computers? Seriously. I mean, like Windows was introduced when?
John.
I mean, seriously. Come on.
Please.
All right.
Let me do my story. Just hang on.
Because I could go on for 20 minutes.
It will address that question.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Here, let me you're the focus now. Here we go.
No. Put your face back up there. I want to see your reaction.
Okay.
So Monday, I'm at work at Key 103. Hang on.
You know what? We need to
at Key 103. We need the jingle.
I was going to say, do they have a jingle? I can load it.
Oh, we got all kinds of jingles. I'll get those to you.
Yeah. So people are wondering. I have like a buttons where I can press and play all these.
Nobody was
things.
wondering, John. You just wanted to show that off, but that's okay.
Yeah. in case you were wondering when I do stuff like this.
Nobody was wondering that. There you go. So I'm at work.
Yes.
And I sit down with my laptop and I open up because I'm going to do show prep. I'm going to write the show and look up things that happened that day and write the question of the day and all that stuff and just get it all done. I like it all prepped before I go on the air. I don't like to do all that stuff while I'm on the air.
No.
And although I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
You're a professional now.
I'm a prep monster.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up in the book.
Look it up in the book.
I got that. I got that reference, Johnny.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm sitting there at the desk, open up the laptop, camera comes on, looking for you. Look, I'm like, son of a. It was just working because I had the podcast last week.
Right.
And the camera was working fine. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? So I did all the diagnostics, troubleshoot, reset. Did this work? This work? No. And I keep turning on the camera and it comes on and then it goes out. I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's making me so angry. So finally, I get in touch with Microsoft. They're like, hey, do you want to do a text? And talk to a tech? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because it's clearly your software that's being stupid. Because this worked and now it's not working.
Here we go.
Get the guy on the text. I forget what his name was. It seemed like a nice guy. And then he's like, hey, can I take over your computer? I'm like, absolutely. You can take over my computer.
Right.
So, we do all of the things. And then all of a sudden I see my cursor moving around. He's moving this window and closing that and opening up. And he's, and he goes, I reinstalled the drivers. Did that work? And I'm like, let's open up the camera. And I'm like, no, it didn't work. Then he says, do you have a shutter that goes across the camera lens?
You're kidding me.
A shutter that goes across the camera lens? I literally looked at it. I'm looking at it and I went, it's a tiny little sliver piece of plastic. And I went, and I sat there and I went,
my camera's working now.
And the next thing I know, the guy's like, is there anything else I can help you with? And I'm like,
you have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.
So embarrassed.
Are you serious?
John.
It was the
I remember
shutter?
when we bought this computer and I got it. I remember looking at it going, it doesn't have the little shutter thing so you can, for privacy, so you can just turn the camera off. So it's not on all the time. I'm like, it doesn't have that.
Apparently it does.
It's microscopic. It's just the tiniest little thing.
What?
There you go.
Someone else has felt your pain.
Tech savvy. 40 years.
Taylor,
40 years.
Elizabeth says, absolutely have done that. I knew you were going to say it was the shutter. See, so maybe you should have crowdsourced this problem, going into it. You could have just asked the people here.
I honestly looked
like, have you tried turning it off and turning it on?
I like the fact that her name's Taylor Elizabeth.
I know. See,
not
two
Elizabeth,
first names.
Not Elizabeth Taylor.
Right.
Okay. So
Yes.
I literally had looked at that and noticed it
Yes.
right when he texted and said, "Hey, do you have a shutter on your camera that goes across your lens?" And I literally looked and I'm going, and I'm doing I'm listening to John mouth open look.
Yeah. Have you does this happen to you a lot? Because I will
What, me
spend
being an idiot? Yeah,
hours.
well, absolutely.
Wait, stop.
Let's be honest.
I will spend hours trying to figure something out. And then the second I send an email on it to somebody to correct it, guaranteed within 30 to 60 seconds after that, I will figure it out. And I'll be like, oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Sorry, I figured it out.
I should post the
painful.
number for the broadcast operations center at SiriusXM. And you could just call and talk to any engineer there and say, remember Ron Ross?
Oh no. Were you that guy too? Yeah.
But I mean, and again, I had all the answers. I answered all the questions. Yes, it's on. Yes, this program's open. Yes, and blah, so on and so forth, and blah, da, 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 da. And then as I'm going through the checklist, I'm going, hang on. And then I'll click. I'm like, all right, never mind. You have a great day. Yeah, thanks a lot, Ron. See you.
Yeah, I hate that.
I did that numerous times.
That's the bane of my existence.
Not looking at the obvious, All
right. So let me tell you, I had a technical problem over the weekend. Okay. Right. So I live in a small gated community.
Okay.
And when I say small and gated, literally there are 5 lots. Now people don't start thinking it's mansions or anything like that. We're just normal sized houses. Happens to be just this little piece of land that we have a gate out front, right? So we got a new controller for that said gate. And so I'm like excited because this is tech. This is where I live, man. And I'm like, hey, give me admin access. I'll go in and I'll do stuff. And I was immediately within 30 minutes of them leaving, I was in the back end and fiddling around and fixing some things. Some names weren't correct and, changing the street names, saving stuff, blah, 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 bloop, 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 bloop. Doing it on my phone, my cell phone.
Sure.
Did not realize at some point while I was saving my profile that when I changed a field, it auto-populated the rest of the form and then used a different email address for me.
Oh,
so before I knew it, I had clicked save and I go to do something else and it says log in again. And I'm like, uh-oh. So it changed to an alternate email address. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I go over to the alternate email address. I do all the authentication. I type it all in. And then I change it back to the other email address. And at that point, I broke something completely. Within 60 minutes of them leaving the property, I had broken the security system. So do not feel bad. And I had to be
not feel bad that I don't have to know how to
I mean, we all do this kind of stuff, It's like I had to go and I had to be, sorry guys, I'm the dum-dum. I'm the guy who's been in IT for 25 years and I just broke your system.
That's right. Well, now it's worse for you.
Yes, it is worse for me. Oh my gosh. I felt about this tall.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. God, it's the greatest, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. It's all good.
I digress.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I was at band practice on Saturday, and my brother-in-law, who's the drummer, Mark, and that's the thing I love about Mark. I mean, he's my brother-in-law, is my wife's brother, is that he. What, Jennifer, that's like the phenomenon of my hubby or kids looking for something. And it's like, it's right there. Yeah. That's
it's literally
exactly
right there.
It's right there. I'm literally looking for something, Jennifer. And I know I'm squirreling right now, but I'll be looking for something and I'll look and look. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I literally will stand there and I will count to 10 and just sit there and go, okay. And I start taking quadrants. Okay. It's not here. Okay. It's not here. But then it's like hidden under it's this corner piece of paper, and I'm looking for my keys or something, and
Yeah.
and you're like, okay,
It's
there
that's a good thing to do, because the same sort of thing when you're going on vacation and you hop in the car,
yeah.
and we'd sit there and do this. Okay, hop up and down, hold on to the steering wheel. Okay, we're 10 minutes down the road. What did we forget?
Yeah, right.
Right?
I do. And you know what? And I don't. I unfortunately I take exception sometimes more than I should with the greatest wife ever. But she reminds me quadrants. What? What's so funny about quadrants?
I don't know. It's pretty funny.
Taylor thought it was funny. But my greatest wife ever will. She'll say, "Do you have your keys?
Right.
Do you have your doodly bop?" Now, out of 100 times, there might be 1 or 2 times where I'm like, "Oh, no." But now, if she's which, of course, warrants her checking basic things that I've been doing 1,000 times. But it doesn't matter because one of those times she's gonna be right?
Right.
And so now she has me if I'm leaving the house alone, maybe she's off somewhere and I'm leaving the house and I'm like, yeah, I go over to the stove, make sure everything's off of the stove, make sure the side door's locked, blah, 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 and I pat myself down like a police officer at the door. I'll literally stand at the door with the door open, it's locked, and I'm like, and I'll physically put my hand in my pocket to feel my keys to make sure they're the right keys,
True.
Key to the house.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good. Key to the car. Got it. And
Wallet.
then I can close the door
Yep.
and then I can leave. But I do it all the time. When I walk upstairs to go to bed, I'm patting myself down because it's cell phone's in the right pocket and wallet or whatever's in the left pocket because I've always put that in the same spot when I go to bed. But because the keys are on a hook in the kitchen. So
same here.
But
we have the hook.
I digress. Yes, we have the hook. Keys go on a hook. I used to do wallet on top of the fridge. Cigarettes used to go on top of the fridge when I smoked, and keys on the hook. Everything was always top of the fridge. And one time, I remember because my parents used to put stuff on top of the fridge all the time. And one time, Mom had lost her engagement ring. She had taken it off. She was, doing the dishes or whatever. And she was one of those ones who would take your rings off. And she had a ring cat you could put it on. It had a long neck. You take the head off and you put the ring on and it looked like a collar. Right. But, and we had a little dish that you put stuff in on top of the fridge, right? Wallet, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So just on a whim, top of the fridge.
Huh.
Just on a whim.
Right.
I would, and then I picked up that habit. I opened the freezer. It was a top freezer. I opened the freezer and checked the top shelf, and there was her ring.
Oh,
it had hit the crease.
Okay.
When somebody opened the freezer, it had dropped down and sat on the shelf.
Wow.
And that's why it was gone. But I found it. Yay!
Yay!
Happy. Yeah, top of the fridge is where I always. But I don't do that anymore.
It seems like a really weird spot to put a dish to collect things. I mean, because especially given our height, you and me both.
I know it was my parent. I know, right?
Like tippy toe, trying to.
That's a fair assessment.
I don't see it.
Yeah, everything. Well, that was the collection spot on top was there, and now the collection spot, especially for like mail and all that stuff, sits on we have a counter. Top of my fridge is a nightmare. Stephanie says we have to find stuff. We'd have to find stuff when we move.
Let alone pulling out the fridge.
That's a good question. You can post that comment if you'd like. Is where's your collection spot? Because now it's on we have a counter next to the fridge.
Right.
And there's a candy jar there, and there's
everybody has a junk drawer or a collection
spot. I don't even want to talk about the junk drawer. I don't even know that's all Jenny's. Jenny's the greatest wife ever, by the way. That's her name, Jennifer.
Right.
And I in case you were a loyal listener to the podcast, now you know. But that's her. That's all. The kitchen island is a magnet, Jennifer said. I love this. Also, by the way, I didn't even mention this. You can call 240-415-9090.
I have that.
240-415-9090 if you want. And you can
Yes, we would love to hear from you. Take a few minutes after the show and tell us a good story, or maybe a joke, or something funny.
No,
or how much you love us.
Or dislike us, or ways to improve the show.
Operators are standing by doing nothing.
Maybe you should stop going off on tangents in the middle of stories.
Yeah, well, so there's that.
Where's your collection spot, John? Because I know you're, I won't say neat freak, but you're very neat and compartmentalized and organized.
I mean, yes and no.
Look at the shelf behind him. And look at the stuff behind me.
But that is in the shot. We're not going to pan the camera down on my desk.
Well, what you don't see is on my floor behind me.
Right. I literally do have stuff on the floor. I am trying right now to get organized. It's been days since I've done things, and maybe months even. We just all get so busy. And don't go in my garage right now.
What? Your garage is not the model of...
it started that way.
Yeah.
And then there's a desk in there, and then kind of stuff just sort of piles up on it. And
dude, I'm telling you, I feel better about myself now.
I need to declutter. I did a closet back here.
Man, you're not kidding.
A while ago. Look, we're men of a certain age, right? So we've collected stuff. I have collections, but then everything looks organized until you start opening up. It's like peeling away the onion, and then all of a sudden, yikes.
Yeah. See my toys?
Yeah.
These are my toys. Look, there's a popcorn bucket from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
A popcorn bucket, a commemorative popcorn bucket from Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie. I mean,
I know. We just,
I could,
if I had a mobile camera, I'd walk you around and show you how.
Our entire basement is just become a collection place, and I really want to get like both daughters to come over here and get your stuff.
Yeah, well, that's you know what,
we have a large
amount our kids too.
We have a large amount of Barbies. We could apply for statehood. That's always been my joke. I have enough Barbies. Barbies was daughter the elder, and daughter the younger was Kelly, and then Bratz dolls. But we still have all that stuff. And thank you, Toy Story, because I'll never be able to get rid of another single toy again in my life, especially Toy Story 2 with Jessie. When somebody loves you.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a Jessie doll. I've got a Buzz Lightyear and a Woody, and they're all sitting on a shelf, and I go in the laundry room and I say hi to them and I brush the dust off of them.
Cue the Sarah McLachlan music.
And then I'll send a picture to daughter the younger and just said, I think I saw a tear on one of their eyes. She's like, no, stop doing that.
Don't do that to me.
Dad.
To answer Stephanie's question, there is my house full of it. It is to use the word that Ron said. Things are compartmentalized. So I have stuff in my office here, which is actually sort of a loft area, and then we have one room that's a little bit slightly Disney themed because we have some family pictures in there, and like in the corner there's like a little Tinkerbell on a thimble, and some stuff in there. But for the most part, I try and keep it, my obsession, here. It's because it gets a little crazy otherwise. And I think everybody has to decide what you're going to collect, right? At some point. So I decided long ago, I am more like on the higher end of things. Like I don't collect a lot of junk anymore. I have concept art and things like that. I try and do that sort of stuff now.
Gotcha.
I don't have tchotchkes.
We picked up Greatest Wife Ever went downstairs, and there were 2 boxes. She pulled one up, and it was filled with nothing but Happy Meal toys. Oh, there you go.
Just
That's nice.
Yeah.
John just showed one of his
that's
Mickey
true.
Mouse
This is a
caddies.
Yeah.
Of
Happy Meal toys.
Happy Meal toys.
Those
right?
are very collectible, apparently.
Well,
The
but
old ones.
they were played with. There was one that was never opened. It was a Bobby's World, and I looked it up, and it's
Loved Bobby's World.
That was a great cartoon.
That and Dexter's
by?
Laboratory. Well, it was Howie Mandel, of
Howie
course.
Mandel, that's correct.
It's a whole part of his routine at one point.
Right. So we had Bobby's World, a collectible, well, not collectible, but a Happy Meal toy, never opened, still in the plastic. And and so I looked it up, and it's like $3 or $4, $4 or $5 maybe. But there apparently is a whole market for all of that stuff.
Yeah. That's the problem though. If you start collecting like smaller stuff, I have Disney pins. I have like 3 bags of pins, things like these little things, the T-Rex or whatever. And if I was to sell that right now, do you know how long it would take me to do that?
Right.
So you have to decide at some point.
Yeah. My Aunt Kathy is my dad's sister.
Mm-hmm.
She was a teenager in the 60s, and she was a huge Beatles fan. Okay.
Ooh.
She was one of the screaming teenage girls in the 60s when the Beatles. She saw them in concert in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she had every single album, and they were in pristine condition.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Now, she had all the American albums.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about the Beatles, there was the UK version on Parlophone, and then the Capitol records were the ones here in the US. And of course, we Americans would put less songs on it so you could get more albums out of it. So Meet the Beatles in the US was introducing the Beatles, I think, in the UK. Anyway, same cover shot, but different track listing. Anyway, she had all the American versions, Capitol records. Okay. Yeah. All of them in pristine condition. And nice. And she unfortunately passed away a while back. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him.
Something good,
hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully somebody got something good out of it. But yeah. But that was it was a full-on collection all the way up through Let It Be. Original LPs from the 60s, from 1964, 5, 6, 7, Sgt. Pepper's. And they were in perfect condition. They weren't in plastic. They had been opened and they had been played. But again, they were perfect. Talk about collecting something. I don't particularly collect something other than if I get my hands on something that I happen to have. Like I have Spider-Man memorabilia because Spider-Man was my guy. Collect something. I have the original poster for the first Spider-Man movie that has the Twin Towers right in his goggles reflected in the goggles.
Yeah.
So that's I'm just gonna hang on to that. That's a collector's item. Good one. Because they had to pull after 9/11.
Right.
And I remember sitting on dial-up for a good hour waiting for that trailer to download with the original teaser trailer, which came out in July of 2001, said next summer. And it had the opening sequence of Spider-Man had this web between the 2 towers and caught these thieves, these bank robbers in a helicopter. And it was sitting and twitching like a bug. And I'm like, oh, that was awesome. And then of course they had to pull all of it. You can still see it on YouTube. But I sat there for an hour to download it on dial-up so I can watch it on my home computer. So I've got that. I've got a Billy Joel album, which is it's called Songs from the Attic. Yeah. And on the back of it, it says where it was recorded. Some were recorded in huge venues, and he did a little club tour at the time, and it was the Glass Houses tour. Still Rock and Roll to Me and all those songs off that album. and he had done a tour, and he recorded a bunch of classics, songs that were never released as singles off the first like 4 albums, Turnstiles and Piano Man and Street Life Serenade. And on it says recorded at the at the Bijou in Georgetown, Bijou. The name of the club was the Bayou. So I have a typo on that.
And did they correct it later, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, subsequently.
So I don't know if it's worth anything. I just thought it was pretty cool.
Right.
You know, I have the Jackson Browne album. I only have the Jackson Browne album running on empty because it was recorded at Meriwether Post Pavilion, which is right near
down the road,
right down the road in Columbia, Maryland, which is close to where I am in Frederick County, Maryland. So I've got little tiny things like that. Like I saved the Batman versus Superman. It was funny when they when they packed up my desk at Sirius XM in DC after I was let go. There was in case you don't know that, there was 475 people lost their jobs. I got caught in the net. 8% reduction in force. Right. And I was in the middle of that, but they had to collect all my things from my desk. So they just threw it all in a box. Blah, blah, and sent me the box. And that was bittersweet, opening that up and looking at all the memories. But one of them was a Coca-Cola bottle, a commemorative Coca-Cola bottle that I had saved that had Henry Cavill's Superman. It was the Man of Steel commemorative bottle. I don't know why I got it at work, but there it was, except they tipped it over. So it was Coke syrup all over the bottle.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that'll teach me.
Cool.
That'll teach me.
That'll learn you.
Oh, well, don't collect liquids, everybody.
Yeah.
So,
good call.
Anyway. All right. I digress.
Yes.
4th of July. We'll do, you know what? I'll do the 4th of July after today's question of the day. Let's get the question of the day. Let's get that going because it's time to get the gray matter working, fire off the synapses, engage the frontal lobe, form new neural networks, utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time to think. It's the question of the day. All right. And just answer this for pride, not prize. I did get an inquiry, by the way, the other day on the Ron Ross Facebook page, Ron Ross Radio Facebook page that said, hey, can we answer the question of the day on Key 103 if for pride, we don't want to get the prize? I'm like, sure, call in. You can call in. I give the phone number out.
Right.
So, right. I mean, we can mail Maryland lottery tickets to you if it's legal. If you can have it in your state, if that's the prize.
Can you do that? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the legality of that is. I'm sure if somebody won from Pennsylvania was listening in Pennsylvania, they'd be able to. Anyway,
don't want to set off any alarms.
Today's question of the day. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm ready. Are you ready? All right.
In 1779, Independence Day was celebrated on July 5th. Today. Why? 1779, Independence Day was celebrated on July 5th. Why was it celebrated on July 5th and not the 4th? And let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint.
Oh, boy. There we go.
It has something to do with the calendar.
Yeah. All right.
It has something to do with the calendar.
Answer now and good luck. Shout out to Mr. Geronimo.
Don Geronimo, everybody. He's back on in DC at Big 100, doing a morning show like he always does. I mean, he's down fantastic.
For those who don't know, that was the Don and Mike show, which we kind of listened to. All of us did, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
WAVA, WJFK.
Yeah. Well, before they moved to afternoons, they were mornings. They were the morning zoo on,
WAVA.
Yeah, 105, Power 105.
All right. We have a couple answers.
All right.
And this one's funny. I'm going to put it up there.
They were too drunk to Jennifer. That's a great answer, Jennifer. Unfortunately, no, that's not it. Taylor. Ooh, That's a good answer. Leap year.
Good guess.
I don't know if 79 was a leap year, but I think odd number years can't be leap years.
However, Jim says
4th was a Sunday. That's correct. There you go. July 4th was on a Sunday. Yes, Stephanie, what Jim said. 4th of July was on a Sunday, and for religious reasons, it's a day of rest. So there was no celebrating in 1779 on July 4th. So
Your
they celebrated
folks are good.
Monday, July
They're
5th.
Smart.
Nice.
Cookies.
Great job. You get pride, not prize. Carry that around with you all, week until we answer the question next week, which, by the way, is going to be our Christmas in July.
Oh, that's right.
Christmas in July is next week, and I've already watched 2 Christmas movies.
Have you? Wow.
2.
Am I obliged to watch a Christmas movie before then? Do I have to do? Oh, okay.
Absolutely not.
All right. I was just checking. Show prep and all.
Live your life. No, you don't have to. But we'll be discussing that. And actually, I'm going to throw that up. That always sounds wrong. I will throw that up on our Facebook page so you can list like your top 5 favorite Christmas movies, and
that I'm interested in.
We can get into that big quibbling discussion.
Yes. Oh,
well, the thing I've already looked up. I'll get into that next week. Sorry. I've already looked up what the big release is going to be this year, and it's going to be on Amazon, I think. And
really?
And The Rock is doing a Christmas movie. The Rock and Chris Evans. So Captain America and Dwayne Johnson.
Movie?
Huh?
Buddy movie, I guess.
Buddy movie, yeah. I believe Dwayne Johnson is an elf. It's called The Red One.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be an action comedy. I'm waiting for the next Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell because I just thought he was fantastic as Santa. Although the last one, David, I'm going to go through all this next week.
Yeah, save
next
it.
Week.
What are you doing?
Next week.
Okay.
Next week. David Harbour was great Santa too. Because now they're going for he's not fat. He's just, big. He's a big dude. Right. And David Harbour was Santa, and I forget what it was called last year. And then even Mel Gibson played a great Santa.
Yeah.
And the Fat Man, you didn't see that?
Oh, I know, but
you never saw Fat Man? All right. No. Watch Fat Man. You have to watch that before next
week. You're going to have to remind me of that.
So we can talk about it. I'll text you.
All right. You can text me that.
Yeah.
I think quite possibly one of the best Santa Clauses was Tim Allen in the original Santa Claus.
What do you think of the series? I like the series.
Had him made well, that was not bad, but I think he's never looked better than he looked in that first movie.
In the first
Santa.
one.
Yeah, they just did such an amazing job.
Oh, and I'll tell you my brush with greatness with that movie.
The Santa Claus?
Yeah. You don't know that story?
Oh, this is Christmas stuff. This should be on next week's show.
My band almost had a song on the soundtrack.
Which band was that?
Next week.
Okay. He teased it. People remind Ron about this story next week.
We'll jot it all down. I'll remember all this stuff.
Okay.
We're talking next week about what Christmas.
Put it in the show notes right now.
Yeah.
4th of July.
4th of July.
Stay with the current holiday? Yeah.
Well, we went to go see fireworks on Saturday because in our little town in Middletown, they do the fireworks on the probably the Saturday before the 4th of July holiday. Mm-hmm. So it was Saturday, and there was a stray shower that blew through, but then it was okay. And we now have a vantage point. I don't know if I should say it here because it's in Middletown Park, and you've been to the fireworks in Middletown Park.
Correct.
Yes. And you actually saw the band that I was in that I was talking about that I was song in the soundtrack. Anyway, and it was around that time of year, dude. It was before that because when did the Santa Claus come out? 93, 4, 3, something like that. Anyway, it's a big thing in Middletown Park, and they've got all of the food vendors and trucks and and so many people and bands that are playing and so on. And then they on the other side of the pond they set off the set off the fireworks, and you know, you have a great display, and they play music through the sound system, you know, that coincides. It's always John Philip Sousa marches, and now it was ROCK in the USA. Now it's Miley Cyrus and Party in the USA. That's a great song.
Boy. All right.
Party in the USA. I love my pop divas, man. So
okay.
Come on, Britney, Dua Lipa, they're fantastic.
You say
so we didn't want to get into all of that mess, because trying to leave that is a good hour, and we all know how much I love traffic. So we started this last year, and we did it again this year. There is a shopping center that's right near there, and there's a Safeway. And we go into the grocery store, we go into the in the grocery store parking lot, and then you grab your folding chairs and you walk up, and there's nothing but farmland behind it, beside it.
Yeah.
And you sit right there and look off the horizon, and that's where the fireworks are.
Oh, nice.
And then we don't have to worry about any of the traffic and all that stuff.
Plus, if you need a cold one, the Safeway's right there.
Oh, and we don't sell beer. They don't sell beer.
Well,
remember, it's Maryland. Yeah.
Beverage.
Okay. Yeah. No, well, you know, we did last year is like we were starving because we hadn't had anything to eat. So we went into Safeway and we got
fried chicken or something.
Bag of fried chicken. Exactly.
So yeah, there you go.
We went back to our house and watched, I don't know, something on TV, but it was great.
Yeah.
Bag of fried chicken. And then we got
we did that.
I never had this before.
By the way.
No, I like, you know, Grace wife every night. We love mashed potatoes. If I could have them every day, I would, but it's just so many carbs. But
true.
She went and our friend Michelle told us about these mashed potatoes that are in the envelope, because, you know, we'll get the Hungry Man or whatever. But these are just add water, and they're literally done in 2 minutes.
Oh,
you know, just nuke the water real quick and you know, whatever. And I'm like, man. So we had that. We bought a can of the brown gravy, and then I got the green beans that are already done with the you know, ham or bacon or whatever.
Right.
Very, very salty, very bad for you. So that's what we had, and that was a great 4th of July meal. I loved that 4th of July meal. So then we did that again this year. So yesterday was the 4th of July and Independence Day, and I was doing a remote broadcast on location. Okay. And I haven't done that in 20 years. I did one a couple of weeks ago at Pride Festival, at the Frederick Pride Festival, which was cool. It was great. And, you know, a huge audience. And so we were in downtown Frederick, and all of the radio stations from the company were all set up. So Eagle 106.9, Max Country, and then Key 103. Key 103. We need that jingle.
Where's the jingle?
So I was there to do a broadcast, and then there was a line of people to play the games. There was a big cornhole tournament that was going on. And, you know, it was great to be out in the community and all that stuff. But I just remember talking to my wife, gosh, not too long ago, about, you know, hey, remember the days when you had to go out and do those remote broadcasts at a car dealership or whatever. And it's just hot, and, you know, it's the middle of the summer and blah, blah, blah. It was hot, man. It was.
Yeah.
We topped out at 87. I was in the shade, and I was hydrated. And
what was the feels like temperature?
Oh, with the humidity, it was like, I don't know, it was like 95, something like that.
Yeah. Pushing up.
It was up there. So we did the broadcast, and I did the and it was great because it's 2023. We were talking about tech, John. It's all on the phone is your connection. And, you know, I had this remote mic, phone's the connection into the system. There was nobody back at the studio. Don't need them. You can sit there with the log on your phone and literally move songs around, put your break in where you're going to be, you know, talking live. And it's freaky, man. It's really cool the way that, you know, broadcasting has come. So you can do this. You know, you don't have to do, now John's going to know what I'm talking about this. You don't have to do a Marty shot.
Right.
With the direct line of sight from your van, and you had to put the mast up in the middle of the van and point the microwave at the Marty link that's on the tower or over at the station, and blah blah blah, and it's you're coming in fuzzy, blah blah blah, whatever. It was, but they were fun. I love doing remote broadcasts. Haven't done one in like 20 years, and I just had a blast. Other than the fact that it was hot. So then I'm leaving. And I promised to talk about this kid on the air today, too, on the show. So I'm leaving and I'm walking to my car. My car is parked all the way. It's, event parking, but it's all the way on the other side. And I'm all done. And I've got my backpack on, which has equipment in it and stuff like that. And, and I'm walking and I'm like, and I had like a spit full of water in my bottle of water. And I'm just walking and walking. I'm pacing myself. I'm not trying to pick it up or anybody. It's in the blazing sun, and I'm just walking. And I come up to my car, and I open my car, and I notice that there's family that's like right up on the sidewalk, and my car was under a tree, which was great. And they're under a tree, and they're all set up, and I'm like, oh, that's would be an interesting vantage point for the fireworks, for the Frederick 4th of July fireworks. And this kid comes up, and he's probably 5, 6, maybe. And I just hear, I'm not grabbing any words out of it at all, but he's got like quarters in his hand. And then he turns around and walks away. And I'm like, okay. But his dad goes, he wants to know if you want lemonade. I'm like, absolutely I do.
I would like some lemonade.
I would love some lemonade. Walked over. Henry was the little boy's name. I walked over there and I'm like, I only got a 20. And they're like, we have change. So the dad's, counting all the money out, and he poured one, and I downed it while I was just standing there. And I said, instead of 19, why don't you give me 18 back and fill this back up, please?
Right. I would like to, please.
Oh my God. It was so good. It was, there's John.
While you were talking about the advances in technology, do you see? Okay, so sorry, apologies to people who are listening right now, but I'm showing a picture of me back in radio in the WARX days.
Wow.
And I've got a bag phone over my shoulder.
Goodness.
And connected to a microphone. Okay. And that was early cell phone days. So you were doing it with your cell phone? Well,
yeah.
Hey, we had cell phones back there. Interviewing the Beach Boys in my body glove shirt with my mullet and acid wash jeans.
Did you bleach your hair? Were you blonde?
Oh yeah, I was.
You were blonde, or you? Yes. Oh yeah, I bleached my hair.
Hold on, Jennifer's
did
dope hair. I totally when I came and was at WARX Magic 106.9. I totally went and had my hair.
That's on the mic flag, by the way. There's the mic flag that's on the microphone.
Yeah, look at that. Wait, hold on, we can do this. Yep, there it is, right there. So anyway, sorry. No means to hijack, but you talked about tech, and I immediately went to that. By the way, I've got pictures of Ron in the studio.
Oh my God, with the stash. Yeah. And that was my favorite shirt. Do you have it?
I'm looking. I'd probably
it's on my Facebook somewhere. I got to go back and find it, or it's on my phone. Yeah, yep. John and I were taking pictures of each other in the studio.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, speaking of, I don't have yours right there, but wait, hold on.
Is this the one I took of you? I took that of you.
You did take that picture of me.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
And you did not go to Villanova.
So young.
Look, man.
I know.
Anyway. And your wife married you anyway.
I know. Look at that.
That's what you look like.
Turn that off. Yeah, we've got to share your picture though from that.
Well, at your wedding, I had a lot of that hair going on, 80s hair. When you were married, 90, 91.
91. October of 1991.
Yeah, so I still had some 80 Ron picks. Taylor's looking for some. But I did one of the readings at your wedding.
You did?
Yeah, so there's a picture of me so I had that hair as well, John. You and I, we were in good company.
You also had a nice mustache back then.
All right, That's the thing I bring up every year at my anniversary.
Back in style now, right?
It's my.
You got to bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I told that's my advice I give every year on my anniversary it's to prospective grooms. If you're looking in the mirror and you're wondering, should I shave the mustache? Yes.
You probably should.
You should. Go. Unless that's the only way you're known. Because we were looking at Daughter the Younger is in Europe right now. Oh, it's going to bring me right into this.
Okay. Well, look at that.
She sent us pictures of her and her boyfriend's passports, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at his passport picture, and I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" Because now he has a full beard, okay, full beard, not big bushy, but it's a full on beard, okay.
Wow.
And that's the only way that I know him. And to look at this, and he's clean shaven. And it's a good 10 or 15 years prior. Right. And good or 10, 15 years younger. And I'm like, who is that? I don't recognize him. But I also told Daughter the Younger, don't let him shave ever.
See, now that's not right.
No, because I don't know him any other way.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I know him with the beard. I'm not saying he looks better or worse. I'm saying I only know him. He's only familiar that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to update you. So Daughter the Younger
is
in Europe, and she's having the time of her life. She's in Berlin. Well, she was in Berlin, Germany, and she spent like 4 days there. And she had an Airbnb, and they went to the markets. And she said there was a giant karaoke like outdoor amphitheater, and she said it was probably 5,000 or 6,000 people in this outdoor venue, and people were getting up and singing and crushing it.
Oh, wow.
And she never got up. Her friend was like, we need to get up there and sing. She's like, absolutely not. Even though she has a band and she sings in this band.
Right.
If she was going to get up there, she was going to do Queen, but somebody took her Queen song, so she didn't do it.
I hate that. I hate when that happens.
When they take your karaoke.
When you're going to do karaoke, whatever you want to call it, and somebody else sings your song right before you're going to go.
Nobody ever takes my karaoke song.
Which is?
Ace of Spades by do you know the song Ace of Spades?
No. What is that?
By Motorhead? No. If you love to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, you lose some. It's all the same to me. No, you don't know that one?
No, we need to have a karaoke show. No, I don't know that one. Mine is Sweet Caroline, because you can never lose doing that. Never lose, because the audience will sing half the song for you.
I saw Neil Diamond in concert. I grew up on Neil Diamond. Okay, so I own Neil Diamond records.
Light FM.
Oh, okay. So but I grew up as a kid. It was Neil Diamond and John Denver. My parents,
right?
That was their jam.
I love Neil Diamond.
And
man crush.
And so we went to see Neil Diamond, and I got tickets for my parents at the Capitol Center.
Okay,
for one night only. The one, the only, the incomparable Neil Diamond.
There will be no opening act. Exactly.
I love that concert.
Neil Diamond.
Right.
We're coming to America.
Exactly. Today. So I took, and I grew up on this stuff. All right. And I took my then girlfriend, who was a bit of a music snob.
Okay.
She was into Rush. I was into Rush.
Yeah.
But anyway, she tolerated my Kiss fanaticism for a time.
All of us did
for a time. I couldn't get anybody to go. I couldn't get any of my friends to go with us to a Kiss. It was a tribute show that was playing. A band called Cold Gin was playing in Columbia, Maryland, at this brewery. Free show. Couldn't get any of my friends. It was on a Friday night. I mean, come on, let's go.
I would have gone.
It starts at 9. Let's go.
Just for the show of it.
Nope. Nobody even went, just for the story, just so they
What?
could people watch and make fun of anybody
I
or
would have
me.
done that. I would have totally done
Nobody.
that.
Now I'll say this: greatest wife ever. He goes, "I'll go if you want to go."
Mhm.
So God bless her. She was right there supporting me and ready. Absolutely, I'll go. But no. But anyway,
You
we're at the
digress.
Neil Diamond show.
Right?
I digress. I mean, we're at the Neil Diamond concert, and he opens with America.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a killer
opened with
opening.
"We're Coming to America," and
Yeah.
it's the "My country 'tis of thee," and the American flag unfurls across the whole back of the stage. Sweet
Oh.
land of liberty, and she is laughing her ass off.
Who? What? Your
The girlfriend.
girlfriend?
Yeah,
No. That's
yeah.
it. She's done.
Completely took me out of the whole thing.
Oh.
Ruined the whole thing. I
He's
was, and I get it. It just wasn't her thing. I understand, and that's her
oh,
taste, and
boo.
that's her flavor, and that's fine. But it just kind of it's like cameo appearances in movies. I don't like cameos in movies because it takes me out of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's Harrison Ford. Or, oh, that's Bruce Willis. He shouldn't be there. You know,
Oh.
it takes me out of the movie.
All right.
And it was just kind of that. So then for the rest of the show, I'm conscious of her just kind of, metaphorically rolling her eyes at the whole thing, and I couldn't enjoy it.
Boo.
And my parents showed up, mom and dad,
Yeah.
coat and tie. Dad had a coat and tie on. They were
Love
going
it.
to a show.
Love
Going to
it.
a show, man. Mom had a dress on. They were going to a show. I got them these tickets for Neil Diamond. It was great. So
Gotta
I
love
wish I'd
Neil.
have gone back to see him when it was, with a more now. See, greatest wife ever, and if I had gone with her, we both would have been in tears through the whole thing and loved every nanosecond of it.
I
She's
would have
that,
gone
it's
with you there too, by the way. I would have
it's
gone
so
with you.
funny because now she does tolerate the kiss, and she makes fun of me for a little bit, but it's all good natured and it's all in good fun, which is fine. But and she's gone with me to a number of Kiss shows and have enjoyed them or whatever.
Yeah.
But our taste in music has aligned over the years. It's really quite amazing. There isn't anything that I like that she doesn't like, or anything that she likes that I don't dig. It's weird that we have become musically more and more
Right.
compatible. If we get into a 70s jam and we just start listening to like 70s songs, like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. And she knows all the words of one, or blah blah blah, or
Oh yeah.
Elton John, Philadelphia Freedom, or
Right.
some
yacht rock.
Seasons in the Sun.
Right. Terry Jacks.
Terry Jacks.
See, we can
I think
play
that was
this
the
game.
number one song.
I'm good at this.
Oh, are you? What,
Oh.
at 70s trivia?
Well, music trivia in general.
Music trivia?
I mean, all the way from probably the late 60s through the early 2000s.
See, that was my undoing with our trivia team.
Yeah.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters, is because they would do, they would announce the categories, and one of them was, 90s divas, and they're all looking at me. All right, Ron, this is your category, because I was the program director of 90s on
Right.
9. Look, I knew how to program the channel, and I knew 99.9% of the music, but that doesn't make me an authority on all things 90s. I mean, I played all that stuff when it was new, but
Right.
they'd look at me, and I'd say 50% of the time I let them down. Where I'm like, I don't know. Was that Logic? Logic was the rap rap
Right.
band. I wish it was a little bit taller, a little bit smaller.
Yeah. I got to tell you though, anytime music trivia
on.
is up there,
Yeah.
the people seek me out to be on their team.
Torn. Who did Torn?
What, Natalie Imbruglia?
Nice. Who
That was back when I was doing the Rick D's weekly top 40 and Natalie Imbruglia.
Hold on.
The Goo Goo Dolls.
Hold on.
What?
Who originally did it? That was a cover.
Really? Okay, that I don't know.
I don't know either, but it was a cover. I'd have to look it up.
I do not know that, but I am solid like 70s, 80s, and through probably mid 90s. And then, like I'm pretty good in 90s, 2000.
Okay. All right. Hell no. I got one for you.
but not.
I'm just
But I can do name that tune,
I'm just
by the
gonna
way,
keep quiz
too.
John. All
Go
right.
ahead.
Rupert Holmes. The big
Yes,
song
the
was
Pina Colada
Pina
song.
Colada song. Great. What was his follow-up hit?
I can hear it because it plays on the Yacht Rock station.
Yes, it does. His one and only follow-up hit from Rupert Holmes.
Him, what's she gonna do without him?
That's
Yes,
right.
I knew it.
Wow. Okay.
I told you I'm good.
Yeah, you are
She's
good.
gonna have to do without him or do without me. Me.
All right.
See, I told you.
Okay.
By the way, we're over time right now.
Are we?
We're in extra time.
We're in extra. Right? We're in extra innings.
We're in extra time, as they say in soccer.
You know what? That's a good thing. You could send us your music trivia. Try to stump John. I just come up with a new feature for next week.
Stump John.
The week after.
It's got to be like later 60s, 70s, 80s, and we'll go to early 90s.
Which came first? Led Zeppelin 1?
Oh, geez.
Or Let It Be from the Beatles?
Wow. I feel like this is a trick question. I feel like it should be Led Zeppelin because of that. Say, I know Ron, by the way. I didn't know the answer to that, but I know how Ron asks questions. So,
do I give it away? Do I telegraph the answer?
I'm just saying, if you're setting up a question, you give something that should be obviously the answer, and then you give something that you have to question whether it's the answer. So sometimes that's how people win on all those game shows,
What fictional character is name checked the most in popular music?
Fictional character is name checked?
Yeah.
See, this is not music. This is not
this
like
is
asking
totally
me
this
the
is
name
all kinds of music
song.
trivia. This is music trivia, John.
This is getting out in the weeds. I feel.
No, it's not.
Popular character?
Yeah, super popular. Fictional character. Name check the most. There you go. I'm throwing it out to you as well. Throw your answer up. It's a bonus question of the day.
Somebody said Superman.
Now that we're in overtime. There you go, Taylor. Superman. Yep. There you go. Nice job.
I like the answer. That's why I put it up on the screen.
Beautiful. Good job, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, Superman. He's name checked in so many songs. God, Bon Jovi has one. Five for Fighting.
Five for Fighting. Yeah. Taylor, you may have pride. Not pride.
Oh, you get bonus pride, not pride. Yeah.
You got bonus pride.
Trivia pride.
Extra time pride.
I'll have to. Stump John. This will be good. Okay. You can post those up.
I am good in hearing songs. I'm a name that tune guy. Within 2 or 3 notes, I can usually, especially if you're in the 70s or 80s, like I can come up with good ones. Yeah. But I mean, if you're not going to go obscure, it has to have charted. Okay. Like, let's at least say that. We're not going off the deep cuts.
Getting deep on you.
No deep cuts.
Who did Rock the Boat?
That was the Hughes Corporation.
That's correct. All right, fine. Who was the married couple? They had 2 separate hits. Let's see her name. Oh gosh, I should probably know the answer before I ask you the question.
Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis.
And Billy Davis Jr. What band were they in?
Oh, not the Fifth Dimension, was it?
Yeah, it was the Fifth Dimension.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Marilyn McCoo sang the song. It was Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. She sang the song "Marry Me, Bill."
Oh, that's right.
I want you marry me, Bill.
But this is where you play trivia, and you're like, if you have to put down an answer, I'm thinking, well, that's probably what I would put down. So I would have been right.
Yeah. I would constantly second guess and screw ourselves out of points with the team.
Yeah, that is a problem, though. You have so much knowledge, you start pushing.
Yeah, I know. But there was one woman of the team that I should never have doubted because she was always right. And I always. So when.
No, you're not right.
So when I deferred.
Right. Yeah.
She was very gentle and sweet about the whole thing. When I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's something else. And it turned out to be correct. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. So when she was wrong, I'm like, ha! No, I didn't do that.
No, but you were thinking it.
No, I wasn't thinking that at all. I was thinking, crap. Oh, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But she's a doctor and she tries to cure cancer. That's what she does.
Well, good for her.
We see her at trivia and I'm
That's
like, oh, what did you do today? Try to cure cancer?
Oh, that's right. Yes, you did.
That's right. You do. I played records and talked in between.
I know.
Songs and pretended like I had what I had to say was important.
I know.
Meanwhile, you're trying to cure, literally curing cancer every day when you go to work. She punches in.
You're a rocket scientist?
Tries to cure cancer.
That's right. Yes, you are.
She punches out because she was trying to cure cancer all day. That's what she did. Every day.
I'm sure she goes to the time clock and actually pulls the lever and punches out.
All right. Okay. All right. We gotta go.
I'm giving you the
the wrap up sign.
Wrap.
All right. Look. Yeah. Hey, share this with your friends and let them know about the podcast that's going on. And we really, really appreciate that. You can always leave a message 240-415-9090, 240-415-9090 for the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast, co-starring my friend and executive producer and music trivia aficionado, apparently. John Yaglinski.
Thank
you. And also a runner. And he's a runner now. Runner. He's back to being a runner.
Back to being a runner. Yep. If anybody's doing Run Disney marathon weekend in January, let me know.
Oh, and my brother, the teacher, said, plug John's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
John.
Intercot podcast. Available on all your favorite podcast platforms. And also we do it kind of like this, too. We do a video thing. Follow along at Intercot on your favorite social media platform.
Okay. And then next week, and I'm going to post this up on our the Ron Ross Facebook page and the Instagram, is your top 5. You want to do 5 or 3?
I like 5.
5 top 5 holiday films or television specials. I know Charlie Brown Christmas is not a film; it's a holiday.
But it counts.
Special. It counts. Top 5.
You're Without a Santa Claus. Count.
And he's Mr. Icicle. He's Mr. Snow. They did a live action remake, and it was unbelievably bad. I just can't believe they did that. Anyway,
all right.
I digress. Because next week, you're going to hear those sleigh bells ringling, jing, jing, jingling. It's Christmas in July. All right. As Jennifer said, listen, please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be safe. Ron Ross, love you, mean it. Bicycle.
Bye now. Bye-bye.